Hi, Paul Bertolino here, and this is my very first video for this channel. I don't even know what the name of the channel is going to be, but you got to start somewhere, right? And well, I'm starting right here. Well, I kind of thought maybe the best thing to do is to start with a Kiss-related video, because what's the quickest and easiest way to get people to click on your new videos if they don't know who the hell you are than with a Kiss video? You know, there's a gazillion people out there doing Kiss-related, YouTube videos, and there's a gazillion people out there doing ranking the albums. And so, well, that's just kind of a simple place for me to start here. And, I'm a big fan of Dr. Fuck, Ralph. I like Pete Pardo, Sea of Tranquility. I love those videos, and I watch those videos all the time. And, it's all just fun stuff. I mean, these are just guys sitting there just kind of basically record geeking, music geeking out, giving their opinions, and just talking about this thing that they're passionate about. And, that's my bag, man. I'm into that. I'm definitely a big, record geek, just like all the rest of you. And I like to talk about this stuff. And, it's all in fun. My opinions are going to be different from yours. In fact, I guarantee some of them are going to be way different from yours, and you guys are going to be shaking your fists. You're going to be yelling at the TV like it's a sporting event. But it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. Yeah. So why don't we get right on into this, ranking the Kiss albums. And by the way, so this channel is not going to be, a Kiss channel, okay? It's just going to be a music, obsessive channel. I'd be just as likely to do a video about Elton John as Kiss, you know what I mean? Or the Beatles, or Prince, or whatever, And so, but like I said, Kiss is a good place to start, right? So ranking the albums, I'm gonna do the studio albums. Alive and Alive 2 really kind of are begging to be on the list, but I decided I'm not gonna go that route. I'm just gonna do the studio albums, and I'm gonna throw the solo albums in there. Yeah, so there we go. Let's do this. Now, number 24. I have a list of 24 albums here, and coming in at number 24 is Carnival of Souls. And by the way, I don't have much vinyl here. I have all this stuff on vinyl, all these Kiss albums that I've been buying since the 70s. I mean, I was a Kiss fan as a little kid in the 70s, and but most of the meat and potatoes of my vinyl is actually at my mom's house. I just have a little Brooklyn apartment here, and those records back there, that's it's the New Arrivals bin. Okay, so, and I only have a couple of Kiss albums in there. So yeah, we're doing this with pop-ups here on the screen. So yeah, Carnival of Souls. Carnival of Souls is well, it's a polarizing one. Some people love that album, some people hate it. I hate it. Which brings me to actually the one song that I actually kind of like on the album is Hate. If I had to choose a favorite song, Hate is the song. But, I just, that album, it's just such a transparent, desperate attempt to be relevant with the times and, try to, sell, Gene has always bragged how, Kiss is not about trends, and they've always ignored the trends and just been Kiss. Bullshit. How many trendy albums do Kiss have? I mean, come on. And this is probably the trendiest of all their trendy albums. And frankly, I find it a little embarrassing. Oh, I know, you guys are losing your mind. How could I be saying negative things about a Kiss album? Look, man, I love Kiss just like you do, but, it's kind of like your brother. You love your brother, but you got those things that you hate about him. I hate it when it's like that. I love Kiss, but there are things I hate about Kiss. And like all really good, true fans out there, you don't just love everything sight unseen, no matter what. They can whip me in the face and I'll say, thank you, sir, may I have another? No. If it's good, it's good. If it sucks, it sucks. But that doesn't mean I don't love Kiss. Carnival of Souls sucks. And I remember buying that album when it came out. I was really excited, actually, for the follow-up to Revenge because I had really liked Revenge, and I thought, okay, where are they going to go from there? And then that album was shelved and it wasn't coming out, and I was like, fuck. But that's because the reunion was happening, and then everybody's attention went to the reunion, and mine certainly did. I mean, I didn't really care about a new album with Bruce and Eric if there was going to be a Kiss reunion with Ace and Peter. Are you kidding me? But then after the reunion kind of started, they just kind of snuck out Carnival of Souls, and I went to Amoeba. I lived in California at the time, and I went to Amoeba the day it came out to buy that album, and there it is. And the title is Carnival of Souls, The Final Sessions. And I was like, wait a minute, oh shit, did the reunion go south and now they're just breaking up and this is just the final sessions? It's over? Fortunately, that didn't end up being true, but that I did find that title a little confusing, and I'm sure a lot of you probably had the same experience. But so I went home and I listened to it, and honestly, I think I liked that album the best the first time I listened to it. Sometimes you listen to an album and it kind of has to sink in, and you have to have some time with it. The dust has to settle for you to really like it. That album I liked the best on first listen, and then it kind of got shittier every time. And yeah, I just now all the things that I said about it, all my complaints about that album, about the trendiness of it, and about, you know, what hypocrite Gene was for, and I don't know if I did mention this, but Gene spent the entire 90s complaining about that kind of music. Oh, you know, the doom and the gloom, and if you don't like making the money, then you can send the check and make the check out to Gene Simmons and all that kind of crap. Not one interview did he not say that shit. But he had no problem making a record that sounded like that, did he, when he thought he might make some money off it, right? It just didn't work. And so none of those complaints that I have would be a deal breaker for me if I thought it worked musically. If I thought, you know, Kiss doing grunge actually kind of works. I like this. But man, I don't think so. It just doesn't work for me. And it probably works for you. Or maybe it doesn't. It doesn't matter, because this is all in fun. It's just my opinion. Don't worry about it. It's going to be okay. So, and I already mentioned my favorite track, Hate. You know, I'll begin mentioning favorite tracks on these albums, and I can only come up with one on this album, and it would have to be Hate. Okay, so number 23 on the list, Crazy Nights. Crazy Nights. Oh, man. That one, Kiss was hardly even on my radar when that album came out. I definitely didn't buy it. I think I completely missed. There was probably an MTV video, but I wasn't watching MTV at that point. I mean, I was so completely oblivious to what was going on in Kiss World when Crazy Nights came out. In the 90s at some point, probably around the time of the reunion, when I was kind of back at a fever pitch with Kiss, I think I bought, you know, a $3 used copy of it at Amoeba. And I listened to that album, and I was just gobsmacked by it. I just could not believe how awful it was. It sounds like the fucking Top Gun soundtrack, right? Even though I can't talk, soundtrack. It sounds like the Top Gun soundtrack. It just sounds like a really bad 80s teen flick soundtrack, you know? And it, you know, there's a couple of okay songs on it. No 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 is a good song, I suppose, relative to that album. And actually, surprisingly, I actually kind of like I'll Fight Hell to Hold You, which on paper, I should hate that song, but I actually kind of like it for some inexplicable reason. I can't even explain why. But anyway, so yeah, Crazy Nights. Talk about an embarrassing album. Some of you like it, some of you don't, but most of you don't. Alright. So number 22, Hot in the Shade. Hot in the Shade. Actually, I think a lot of people really don't like this album. I bought that one actually when it came out. I remember when it came out because I was right when that album came out was kind of when I was starting to get back into Kiss. But I was getting back into 70s Kiss. I wasn't really getting back into like current Kiss. But when there was a new Kiss album coming out, I bought it just because I was kind of getting back into, you know, trying to find old 70s memorabilia. You know, I'd had the Kiss dolls I'd had the Gene doll in the 70s, the Mego doll, and I had long since thrown it out or whatever, and I decided I was going to go out and get those and try to get the lunchbox again and try to recollect the 70s stuff that I'd had as a kid that I no longer had. So that's kind of where I was at in 89 when Hot in the Shade came out. But I was so on that trip that a new Kiss album was of interest to me. And I bought it, and I kind of liked it at the time. That's another one of those albums, kind of like Carnival of Souls, where I think I liked it best when I first listened to it, and it kind of went over time. They way overloaded it with a bunch of subpar songs and demo-y sounding songs, and just like, I don't know. I mean, I like a lot more songs on that than I do Crazy Nights or Carnival of Souls. I mean, I like Silver Spoon a lot. That's actually not, as far as I can tell, it's not a lot of people's favorite, but actually that might be my very favorite song on the album. And I always liked Betrayed. Betrayed's a pretty good one. I never really liked Rise to It much. And, you know, I don't like the slide guitar, and, you know, because that was very, like, the late 80s trend for all the Sunset Strip bands, you know, was to have cowboy boots and to be, you know, rocking in the desert with a slide guitar and all that kind of shit. And it was just like, you know, not into it. You know, I kind of liked Hide Your Heart at the time, and Cadillac Dreams. I don't like them as much now, but there's a lot of awful songs, like, of course, Read My Body. That's universally, is Read My Body on that one? I think it is, but anyway, that's a universally hated Kiss track. So anyway, let's go to number 21. I'm looking down a lot. I realize you're here, but I'm looking down a lot because I'm looking at my list. So bear with me. This is my first video, and I'm still getting it all figured out. So number 21. Okay, number 21 is Psycho Circus. Yeah, Psycho Circus. Oh man, was I excited for that album. Oh my god. Yeah, Psycho Circus. When there was going to be a new Kiss studio album with Ace and Peter. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm in. Oh man, I was counting the seconds for that album. The seconds. And you know, I went out and I paid the ridiculous $20 price that they fucking put on that album because it had, you know, it was an enhanced CD. Whatever. They just put extra money on it because they knew everybody was gonna, all us Kiss geeks, myself included, were gonna go out and buy it no matter how much it was because it was the Kiss reunion album. Yeah. I mean, normally I would not have paid $20, maybe for an import, a Japanese import of something. But, you know, Kiss geeks, we're like Trekkies. They know they have us by the balls, and you know, and they have no mercy. No mercy. They're going to take us for everything we have. And that was one of those examples. And unfortunately, that was not a $20 album in terms of the music inside. Man, I liked some of the songs. I mean, I like the title track. I like Pledge Allegiance to the State. And my favorite track is the one and only proper Kiss reunion track on the album, and that is the Ace track, Into the Void. For me, that is hands down the best song on the album. But again, the title track is actually really good. That's actually a really good track too. But there's so much awful stuff on it. You know, the Peter track, also universally hated. I don't like We Are One. Dr. Fuck, I know you love that one. Thumbs up to you, but man, I fucking hate that song. And of course, God, You Wanted the Best. Everybody hates that one too. Who likes that one? Do any of you guys like that one? Most people hate that one. But there's some good tracks on it too. Yeah, but basically that was the failed Kiss reunion album. That wasn't really a Kiss reunion because Ace and Peter are hardly even on it. Okay, so let's go to number, what are we on here? I don't have my reading glasses on because I don't want to sit here with my reading glasses reflecting off the light. So I'm trying to read the list here. So number 20, Animalize. Yeah, Animalize. You know, there are many points in the history of Kiss where I get on and I kind of get off for a while, and then I get back on and I get back off for a while. My first getting back on with Kiss was when when Animalize came out. because I got my initial getting off of Kiss thing when I kind of grew out of them was around Creatures. And then I sat out Lick It Up, and I decided that I was interested again when Animalize came out, so I bought that. And, you know, I was really big. I was big into metal at the time. Like, I was a total metal kid in 1984 when this came out. And I liked the album. I loved it. You know, there's obviously songs on it that, you know, like the last couple, the songs that Gene phoned in that are, like, mostly on side 2, Murder in High Heels and that kind of thing. I never liked those songs. Although I do like Burn Bitch Burn. It's a ridiculous song, but that's why I like it. I love to hate those god-awful lyrics. I mean, the thing is that the lyrics to Burn Bitch Burn are so awful that I actually enjoy listening to it because I find it's like a comedy piece. I mean, come on. Out of the frying pan and into the fire! Bend over, baby! Let me be the driver! You know, I'm gonna put my log in your fireplace and all that kind of shit. It's Spinal Tap can't touch that shit. But over time, the album is kind of like a lot of the ones at this bottom part of the list have gone and I'm not as into it anymore. I really can't stand, you know, the playing on it. I just, the guitar, Mark St. John, I know, sorry, R.I.P. I don't like his guitar tone. I don't like his style. I mean, when it comes to like the shredding kind of playing, Vinny was the guy. Mark St. John, he's kind of low rent. But the songs I like, my favorite songs in that, Under the Gun, Heaven's on... I actually like the singles a lot. I like Heaven's on Fire, I like Thrills in the Night, and of course the opening track, Had Enough. Those are all tracks that I always really liked and that kind of still survive for me. Excuse me. But anyway, so let's go to number 19. And number 19, this is going to surprise you, especially because you'll realize, well, some of the albums that are below it. Well, Peter Criss! Yeah, the Peter Criss 1978 solo album. It's, of course, my least favorite of the 4 solo albums, but I don't really hate that album. I mean, I kind of liked it when I got it in the 70s, you know, well, I got it in early 79. Those albums came out in September 78, and by the time I got Peters, I think it was probably early 79. But, you know, I mean, I wasn't necessarily a rocker kid. I mean, I liked rock, you know, and I liked Kiss, I liked Aerosmith, and I liked that kind of stuff, but I wasn't strictly a rock guy. I mean, I like pop shit. You know, I loved Elton John, and all kind of stuff. You know, I liked Michael Jackson when Off the Wall came out, and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I wasn't really going to be put off by Peter's album not being, you know, Kiss sounding. You know, I liked some of the pop tracks on that. There's a lot of songs I don't like, but, you know, I really like I'm Gonna Love You, and I like You Matter to Me. Can't stand Tossin' and Turnin'. But, you know, what else? Easy Thing's a good song. You know, there's some good stuff on that. And, you know, and as I get older, you know, I can definitely deal with some of that stuff a little bit better, too, than I could at the time. So, yeah, Peter Criss at number 19. And believe it or not, coming at number 18, only one spot above the Peter Criss album. Oh my God, you guys are going to be pulling your hair out. Revenge! Revenge. Yeah, Revenge, I only have at number 18. You know, I really loved that album when it came out. I remember being in the backseat of somebody's car. A bunch of us were driving to LA, and it was late at night, and I was in the backseat, and they were playing some music in you know, I don't know if it was a cassette or a disc or whatever, but they put on the new Kiss album, and I hadn't heard it yet, and I'm just sitting back there going, damn, this is pretty good. This is pretty fucking good. And in the end, when I finally got the album and really started listening to it, digging into it, I found that I really loved about half of it and just didn't really care about half of it. You know what I mean? I always considered the album kind of overrated because a lot of people consider it just like one of the best Kiss albums. Some of it's really good, but there's so many tracks on it that I just don't really care about. But we're not going to focus on the ones I don't care about because there's such good stuff. Like Unholy. Unholy is one of the best Kiss tracks ever. I mean, you know, I like Domino, I like Spit, I like even Take It Off. I think a lot of people don't like that one, but I like that one actually. And I like I Just Wanna. You know, there's some other pretty good stuff, but those are probably my favorite tracks. Yeah. And that one actually don't have on vinyl because I haven't gotten any of those 180 gram issues. So any of the ones that didn't come out on vinyl initially, I actually don't have the records for those. I just have the CDs, unfortunately. You know, I haven't cracked out the wallet yet. And by the time I do, I know they'll be out of print and they'll be $1 gazillion. But, you know, what are you going to do? Okay, so at number 17, oh man, you guys are going to be ready to kill me. The comment section is just going to be, oh my god, you won't believe the album I'm about to put above Revenge. Number 17, Sonic Boom! Yeah, you guys all hate Sonic Boom. Sonic Boom, I was going to say it's polarizing, but it's not really polarizing because I don't know of anybody who loves that album. Most people hate that album, and I never understood why. I never understood why people hate that album. I mean, half the song, there's so many songs on that album that sound like some of my favorite songs on that album, like Hot and Cold, Nobody's Perfect. They sound like fucking Rock and Roll Over outtakes. I mean, when that album came out and it's Kiss basically doing 70s Kiss, trying to do a Rock and Roll Over album, you know, it's not as good as Rock and Roll Over, obviously, but that's kind of like the vibe they're going for. And people said they hated it. I'm thinking, if you guys hate this, then you can't be satisfied, because they're officially at that point where no matter what they do, you're not gonna like it. I mean, seriously, like I said, some of that stuff sounds like Rock and Roll Over outtakes, and you guys are just like, that sucks. I mean, like a lot of people hate those Gene songs I already mentioned, and they're great. They're great tracks. I mean, you know, again, they're not as great as the actual Rock and Roll Over tracks, but come on. They bury Psycho Circus, Crazy Nights, Carnival of Souls, all that crap. Are you kidding me? Come on. What's the other song I like on that album? Oh, Never Enough. I like that song too. You know, Paul his voice has gone south by this point, and he kind of sounds like he's been gargling milk on most of this album. Yeah, but you know, the songs are good, you know, in a lot of cases, and I like the production. I like the direction they're going in. I like what they're going for. You know, the cover is a bit of a miss, but you know, whatever. Okay. Oof, this is going to be a long video, folks. I don't know if I can do this all in one sitting. So number 16, coming in at number 16, Monster! Yeah, you know, Monster, I think a lot of people consider that to be better than Sonic Boom, and I think it is a little bit better. Now, Sonic Boom, for me, that's Gene's album. I know Paul produced it, and he's the leader of all this stuff. But for me, Gene is the MVP on Sonic Boom. Now, Monster is Paul's album. Paul's songs are the better songs on Monster. I was really, really happy with this one. I mean, I think Hell or Hallelujah is great. Actually, I like Shout Mercy, Long Way Down. As far as Gene's songs go, I like Wall of Sound a lot. And, you know, I'm not really on either Sonic Boom or Monster. I'm not really that big on Eric or Tommy's songs. I like the fact that they're giving them songs. They're giving them space on the album to do their own songs. But, so in theory, I like it, but I just don't like the tracks that much. Whatever. So anyway, about Sonic Boom, where are we? Number 16, we already did Monster, we're doing 15! Oh shit, we're doing 15. Now we're getting into albums that I really kind of like, I genuinely like. I mean, I like Monster in Sonic Boom, but now we're getting to like, yeah, this is a good album. And, well, at number 15 is Asylum. Yeah, Asylum. You know, Asylum is probably my favorite. Well, no, it's not actually, because there's one higher than this. Asylum is one of my favorite non-makeup 80s albums. I didn't really give it the time of day when it came out. I remember I liked the singles a bit, you know, the MTV videos. I liked Who Wants to Be Lonely, I liked Tears Are Falling, and I still like those songs. But they didn't prompt me to go out and get the album, for whatever reason. So that one, well, I mentioned earlier how I went and I got Creatures or Crazy Nights in the 90s and bought like a $3 used copy. Same thing with Asylum. And but Asylum's a good album. I mean, a surprisingly good album considering when it came out and any number of things. I mean, it being the mid-'80s, that right there means the album probably should be awful, but it really isn't. It's actually a pretty damn good record. I like that one a lot. Tears Are Falling. I like Love's a Deadly Weapon is a song I really like on that album. King of the Mountain. Yes, there's good stuff on this. So let's move up. Let's move on because this video is going to get really long because I'm only at number 14. Whew. Number 14 is, well, Lick It Up! Yeah, Lick It Up is, of course, their finest non-makeup 80s album. Because, you know, Lick It Up basically is Creatures Part 2, really. And, you know, most of you would agree with that, I think. And I don't think it's as good as Creatures, obviously, because we haven't gotten to Creatures yet. But, you know, Creatures and Lick It Up could really be a double album, you know. I would go for that. Lick It Up, when that album came out, I had grown out of Kiss, you know, grown out of Kiss when I was like 13 or whatever. But I was really interested in the fact that they were taking the makeup off. I remember going into Rainbow Records, and seeing Lick It Up there and just being like, oh my God, and just picking up the cover and just staring at it and going, oh my God, Kiss without makeup. And just staring and looking at Gene, looking at Paul, and Eric, and going, who cares what Vinny looks like? He's new anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But I didn't buy the album. And, but that's the album that kind of brought them back, right? I mean, they kind of came back into vogue, you know. Well, they got on the whole MTV thing, and metal was kind of a big popular thing, and you know, and Kiss kind of rode that wave for a while, didn't they? Yeah, but I think that album, that's one of those albums, I mean, I keep mentioning albums that I liked a lot more when I first got them, that kind of went over time. Lick It Up is one that kind of goes up and up and up over time, that I appreciate more over time. And I don't really remember exactly when I got that. It would have been sometime maybe in the later 80s, early 90s maybe, I guess. But yeah, but that's a great one. Okay, so coming in at number 13, you guys are going to be going, how could this record possibly be ranking this low? Well, it's all the albums that I like better that are above it. But anyway, yeah, you know what, this, and you're right. I mean, this is a great Kiss album. This really, genuinely is a stellar Kiss album, one of their best albums, but the stuff above this, is just closer to my heart, man. I just love more. As great of an album as this is, the stuff above this on the list, I just love more. Anyway, so, well, it's Creatures of the Night. Yeah, Creatures of the Night. I mean, you know, a lot of people would put this in their top 3. I mean, this is a lot of people's favorite album. And you know what? You're right. But it's also your opinion. But yeah, it's you know, it's completely makes sense for you to feel that way. It's a rock solid album. But I mean, you know, however you feel, it's fine. It just like how anybody feels is fine. But anyway, yeah, I don't even know what I'm talking about. See, the thing is that this video is getting so long, and I'm starting to run out of steam here. But I'm gonna do this as a half. I'm just gonna do number 24 through 11. And then I'm going to do a part 2 where I do the top 10, okay? Because how much of this could you possibly sit through in one sitting, okay? And how much of it can I actually do in one sitting? Okay. So, yeah, Creatures of the Night. I mean, I remember I had kind of gotten off Kiss by then. Like, I had bought The Elder, and it just kind of, I didn't even know what to do with it. And I started to get kind of age. Like, I got to be about 12. I was 12, I think, when Creatures came out. Maybe 13. 12. And I just had gotten too old for Kiss. But I remember going into Rainbow Records and there was Creatures of the Night on the end cap. It was one of the new albums there, and I didn't even know there was a new Kiss album coming out. There was a new Kiss album. And I was like, oh, wow, and I picked it up to look at it, and I was kind of intrigued because, you know, they had just come off The Elder, but I looked at this and I'm like, oh, no, this is proper Kiss. Like, you know, Paul Stanley isn't wearing, like, the Mike Reno from Loverboy headband. You know, the hair's grown out, and Gene has the bun, the ponytail back, and okay. This looks like Kiss is kind of being Kiss again. So I bought it. I bought the album, and I took it home, and I'll tell you what, when I first listened to it, I wasn't really into it. And I think what it is that I was maybe, to be really honest, I think I was kind of a little too young for it. Because Kiss kind of, with that album, they moved up into like older brother rock at that point. You know what I mean? I was still just young enough. I hadn't really gotten into metal yet. It's like the really hard stuff like that album and other stuff. Like I wasn't into Iron Maiden or Judas Priest or any of that kind of stuff. Well, no, I kind of liked Priest. No, I did like Priest. I don't know. Basically that album was maybe just a little too, I don't know. I'm trying to kind of put my finger on what it was. I think it may have been the songs just didn't engage me as much at the time. And I don't know. So I kind of just filed it away. And as a result of that, I didn't pick up Lick It Up when it came out. But that was an album that I went back to it later and went, oh shit, this is what I've been missing out on. What was wrong with me when I listened to this the first time? And of course, yeah, it's a really great album. And, you know, most of you guys were on it right away. You guys loved it right when it came out. Not me, man. It took me a little while to I had to keep going back to it for me to kind of go, oh shit, okay. And, you know, now I love it, just like all you guys do. And, you know, the title track is geez, what a fucking great track that is. I really like Saint and Sinner. I don't think that's generally one of the favorites on that album, but that's definitely one of my favorites on that album. But, you know, Killer and you know, Rock and Roll Hell. I can't stand Keep Me Coming. But there's a lot of great stuff on that album. I mean, that is a rock solid album. And I remember the first hint of people starting to like Kiss again that I was noticing at school was when that album came out, because I remember kids in the gym. There would be kids that would be on one end of the gym inside when we were in the locker room when we were changing. Some kid on one end of the locker room would go, ah! And a kid over at the other end would answer, ah! And I remember kind of going, Kiss is kind of on the radar again. People are paying, and I was kind of like, that's kind of cool. I'm into this. Hadn't really yet gotten into the album, but I liked the fact that, you know, that kids around me were starting to pay attention to Kiss again and like them again. You know, they were kind of back on, well, like I said, they were back on the radar. So, yeah. So I think Kiss probably would have come, that's kind of like my, a little hint to me that maybe Kiss would have come back into style even if they hadn't taken the makeup off. I mean, taking the makeup off was definitely a step in the right direction and really hit that home for them. But I think they would have had a bit of a resurgence even if they'd kept the makeup on. As far as I could tell. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But anyway, so number 12. Number 12 brings us to an album that nobody liked when it came out. Nobody liked when it came out. And I definitely was scratching my head. Well, you probably know what I'm talking about. The Elder! Yeah, ooh, boy, I was at an absolute height of loving Kiss when The Elder came out. I remember just seeing it there at the store. At Eucalyptus was the record store where I saw that. And I was just like, didn't know what to make of the cover because there was no picture of Kiss. It was just such an entirely different vibe just to the cover than anything that had come before. But, you know, I plunked down the cash, or I think my mom probably bought it for me. You know, I was 11 when that album came out, so I probably said, hey, Mom, can I have the new Kiss album? And she probably bought it for me. But I went home and I listened to it, and I was just like, couldn't make heads or tails of it. And You know, and I remember I was still buying 16 magazines. 16 magazines were a big thing at the time. Kiss was always in it. And they were, you know, they had the new Kiss look, you know, in 16 magazine where it showed them with the short hair, and they talked about the new Kiss sound. And I just was like, I was intrigued by the new look, even though I didn't really, I think I tried to like it more than I actually liked it. But when I listened to the record, it was just... it just didn't make any sense to me. Nothing about it was engaging. None of the songs were really memorable to me, and yeah, I think that's just the album where I just kind of like lost interest in Kiss, because they went into some other realm where I couldn't follow them. I couldn't go on this ride with them, and but down the road, I grabbed that album again and had a listen in the 90s. And ended up really loving it. I mean, like, I love that album now. Couldn't even... It didn't even compute in 1981 when I first listened to it. But ultimately, it ended up being an album that I really love. And I love almost every song on the album. I mean, there's a couple of things. I'm not that big on I, believe it or not, even though that's one of the more rockin' tunes on the album. But I'm not that big on I. But what are my favorite songs? I actually really like A World Without Heroes a lot. I didn't like it at all at the time. I just thought it was a boring, it was like adult music to me. That was like, I thought this sounds like something my mom would like. But now I really love that song. I think that's my favorite song on the album. But I love The Oath. I like Just a Boy. Dark Light, of course. I mean, you know, you can never go wrong with Ace. Well, sometimes you can, but not in this case. So yeah, The Elder. And so... coming in at number 11, this is going to be the last one for part 1. But coming in at number 11 is, well, the album that came right before The Elder. Unmasked! Yeah, Unmasked. Now, they lost a lot of people on Unmasked. They lost a lot of people on Dynasty, even more people on Unmasked, even more people with The Elder, but I was totally on board with Unmasked. And the reason why this album ranks so high for me now, you know, above fucking Creatures and Lick It Up and all that stuff, is because I still have a really good soft place in my heart for the album, just because I loved it so much when I was 10. Got it when it came out. I remember not even knowing a new Kiss album was coming out. I was in the car with my mom, and we were driving. We got about a block away from our apartment, and the radio DJ said there's going to be a new Kiss album coming out. It's called Unmasked, and I was like, so excited. And so when it came out, of course, rushed over to get it, and just like the previous album, it had a poster in it, and like the previous several albums, it had an order form so Kiss could get more of your money, and I loved Unmasked. Loved it. Again, you know, I liked pop stuff, so I mean, I wasn't, just like with the Peter album, I wasn't put off by the fact that it wasn't rock, and even though some of it was, I really loved Is That You? I hated Shandy, but you know what? Shandy is actually my favorite song on the album now. Believe it or not. But, you know, it's one of those things when you get older, songs like that, you start to like songs like that, you know. But what else? I mean, you know, reading glasses, folks. Shandy, Is That You? I really like Easy As It Seems. I always liked that one. I liked it then. I like it now. I always loved Torpedo Girl. Not a popular Ace song from that album, but that's my favorite Ace song on that album. You know what? I don't like, and I never liked, from the first time I played that album, I never liked Two Sides of the Coin. Always thought that was a weak Ace track. Talk to Me I liked a bit at the time, but it hasn't really aged well. I mean, it's not bad, I just don't really like it much. And, yeah. Anyway, yeah, Unmasked. It's kind of a weird Kiss album, but I kind of like it. You know, I like What Makes the World Go Round. I like Tomorrow is kind of a fun, dopey pop song, but I like it, you know. Yeah, so there you go. Okay, so that's the end of side one. Part 1. Again, doing this in 2 parts because as I start to babble about these albums, you know, the clock starts ticking and the video starts getting really long. And I don't expect you to sit through a long-ass video. And so, all right. Hopefully you'll see you next time, and hopefully I'll motivate to do part 1, or part 2 rather, and give you the top 10. And, you know, and hopefully you don't hate me too much, but that's okay. Even if you do, it doesn't matter. because this is all in fun, right? And we all Kiss fans like different stuff. You know, some people, their favorite stuff is all the 80s stuff that I hated at the time, that I kind of like now. Other people are 70s Kiss guys. I'm a 70s Kiss guy, but that's when I got on board. And I'm a 70s guy, kind of generally speaking, so that's always going to be the stuff I like best. Spoiler alert. But anyway, so, yeah, all right. And thank you to those people watching this first video, and thank you for the people who don't come and try to find where I live with a gun because I don't like revenge as much as they do. And because I hate Carnival of Souls. Again, it's all fun, guys. Anyway, see you next time.